Alright, what's going on, you guys? Welcome to Madrid Hub again. I'm your host, Dr. JOTA. Today, another exciting show with a lot of news regarding to Real Madrid. The most important today, arguably, is the interview from the Mbappe's mom. And not because, it is not only because it is his mom, it is also because all the things that I have read in all the different outlets, newspapers, media, and stuff like that, it is only an excerpt of the whole interview. And of course, it is funny because a lot of people right after they hear the mom of Kylian Mbappe, all of them said, okay, she says that they are talking and with PSG to renew the contract of Kylian Mbappe. She confirmed that they are in talks to renew the contract of the player and stuff like that. But they didn't tell you the most important, and that's why I'm here to tell you all what happened in reality, because it is a very different story. If you read the whole interview, you will notice and you will realize that Kylian Mbappe's mom, it is actually the biggest supporter that every Madridista can have for the signing of Kylian Mbappe. But I will put it on hold right now and I will talk about that later on. But now let me get into the details of about more different stuff. We will be talking about Erling Haaland as well, Paul Pogba and his future, and of course Marco Asensio. Those are the four more important names today in the news of Real Madrid. So let me get started with Marco Asensio, because according to ABC News Spain, Marco Asensio is literally on the market. He might be sold next January because apparently the player is not very happy with the time he's been receiving in Real Madrid over the last games and since the beginning of the season. As you know, Marco Asensio only have played 244 minutes, and that is not enough for a player who was supposed to be one of the most important players this season for Real Madrid. As you know, we have had a lot of things with Carlo Ancelotti. Well, we have had a lot of things with Marco Asensio over the last 3 years actually, but the only difference it was this year. Carlo Ancelotti told him apparently in a private meeting that he was going to be one of the most important and one of the most utilized players by the Italian coach, and he said, okay, of course, just stay here in Real Madrid because I'm going to give you the opportunity to show everybody that you can do a much better job than in the prior 2 years with Zinedine Zidane. So that is exactly what happened when he was featured in the lineup against Mallorca. He played incredible. He scored 3 goals. He could have even scored more goals, like 2 more goals, and he did an incredible performance, right? So everybody was so happy. The player was so exciting. He felt kind of, compensated after that super game where Carlo Ancelotti staked on the valuable player to play in the lineup. But right after that, against Villarreal, he didn't do a very good performance. It was in general a very poor performance of the whole team, but Marco Asensio was very, very great that day, so he was replaced. And then against Sheriff Tiraspol, he didn't even have the opportunity to play a single minute, and that is apparently exactly when he thought that it's better for him to leave Real Madrid this winter. And from Real Madrid apparently are thinking the same way. They are thinking that it's better to sell Marco Asensio in the winter market because apparently Carlo Ancelotti can't count on him anymore, or giving more minutes to play in the rest of the season. It is a very complicated issue, because if you keep in mind that we have a lot of very good players in the midfield, that is of course a super, cutting throat competition for Marco Asensio. That is number one. And number two, there is another reason hidden behind this rumor that he might leave Real Madrid. And it is because that the player is okay when we are attacking, but when it comes to defense and all the things that you have to do when you have to support and help the defenders, he's not very good at it, and that's why Carlo Ancelotti is a little bit disappointed with him, and that's why he can't count on him anymore. Because if Carlo Ancelotti features someone in the midfield of Real Madrid, what he is expecting to happen is that these players from the midfield help a little bit more in defensive tasks and stuff like that to the defenders. We have to defend not only with 4 players but with 7 or 8 players, and that is exactly what Marco Asensio doesn't understand, or doesn't want to understand, or is not good at, or whatever you want to call it. So that is the other reason why Carlo Ancelotti is losing trust in this player, and that's why Marco Asensio might be in the market the next winter. It is very sad for me because Marco Asensio was one of the most promising players in Real Madrid, especially after the departure of Cristiano Ronaldo. Everybody was expecting for him to take over and being the most important player, or one of the most important, but didn't happen. And right after that, the super bad injury that he had, the ACL. So all those reasons and circumstances have pushed the Marco Asensio to take this decision about to leave Real Madrid the next winter, and that's why it's very sad for me. But it is very true. I don't think that Carlo Ancelotti really trusts in him, and of course nor Zinedine Zidane, who didn't give him the opportunity to become a better player. And on top of that, he was all the time playing in a position that is not his natural position. So to me, the story with Marco Asensio in Real Madrid is pretty much over, and I don't think that he will have so many chances more to keep showing off everybody that he can play in Real Madrid. Okay, so that is the thing. So next story is very interesting as well, because it's about the possible signing of Paul Pogba for Real Madrid. As you probably know, Paul Pogba has been very attached to Real Madrid over the last 2 months, just because he's ending his contract in next year, and some people out there started to rumor and speculate with the possibility for Paul Pogba to land in Real Madrid. Because as you know, over the last years, Paul Pogba, actually 4 years ago, he was very close to sign for Real Madrid, and it was something that, that he was left behind, but he was like alive all the time, and rumors and things like that, speculating with the possibility for him to play in Real Madrid. So apparently it was going to happen next year, but now, according to L'Equipe, Paul Pogba finally will renew his contract with Manchester United, because the offer that the Red Devils have thrown on the table, it is very attractive, it is very good. He will be making about 10 million a year, so he will be one of the biggest paid players in Manchester United. But the most important reason why he decided to stay in Manchester United, allegedly, it is because Manchester United has built up a super project for the next seasons, signing to Cristiano Ronaldo, Jadon Sancho, Rafa Varane and others. So that's why he thinks the best place for him to play in right now is still Manchester United, and there's no other place, there's no other team in the world where he can feel better, or where he can feel that they are building up a much better project than Manchester United. So the competitiveness that Manchester United is trying to build up this season, it is the most important reason for Paul Pogba to stay. This is something I told you guys like time ago. When a team wants to sign a super big name, a super player, it is not only about the salary they throw on the table and the player. It is of course very important to make a lot of money, but for the player it is also very important that that team has or present a very good project for the future, because it is of course in the long run, it is very important as the money is, for the player to be aware that he's a part of a big project, a very collective project, a project of group, a project of club for the future, to stay competitive and stay on top and keep fighting for every single title. So that is also very important for the players, and apparently for Paul Pogba it is also very important as well. So apparently Paul Pogba will remain in Manchester United, and there's nothing we can do about that. Paul Pogba will not sign for Real Madrid. Let me tell you what, it was not one of the most desirable players for Real Madrid That is, I mean, we have to be honest at this point. I think that Real Madrid lost his interest in Paul Pogba a long time ago, especially since Zinedine Zidane's departure. But it was always something, you know, that pushed you to think that is like, okay, this guy might fit very good because it is a very good player. We don't have to pay any kind of transfer fee. We only have to pay a fee to himself and stuff like that, but it's not a big deal. And you always say, okay, this guy can be good for us, so let's try to sign him or offer something interesting for him or something like that. So although he was not our top priority, it was of course an option, but not anymore. So now let's move forward and let's start to talk about the most important names for Real Madrid. The first one is Erling Haaland, because according to Diario AS, Erling Haaland doesn't want to renew his contract with Borussia Dortmund. As you probably heard last night, I think it was, Borussia Dortmund was willing to throw a lot of money on the table, was willing to offer to the player a super massive salary. It is the double he is making currently in Borussia Dortmund. So apparently he's making about 8 million and he might jump to 15 million a season, which is of course a very good salary. But even with that, the player doesn't want to extend his contract in Borussia Dortmund because the most important for him right now is to go out and play for Real Madrid. I mean, that is something that we have heard about for the last, I don't know, maybe 2 months or something like that. Real Madrid, Borussia Dortmund and Mino Raiola had already an agreement for the player to leave easily from Borussia Dortmund. That is the agreement between also Mino Raiola, Erling Haaland and Borussia Dortmund. They said, okay, 2022, you have to ease me the exit from Borussia Dortmund because I probably will try to play in another bigger team. So that is the deal. They have to put everything so easy for the player to go out and, you know, promote to another bigger team or bigger club or whatever. So why is then Borussia Dortmund offering this kind of salary to Borussia Dortmund? Because it is pretty obvious that if you are Joachim Watzke, the CEO of Borussia Dortmund, you have to try to retain the player, even if you are aware that you are not going to get anything from him, but you still have to protect your interests and the interests of your club. You know what I'm saying? So he is trying to offer something to Erling Haaland. But of course, 15 million euros, it is still much lower than the money he can make in Real Madrid, because it is not about the salary Real Madrid is willing to pay the player. It is also all the sponsorship deals he can get once he signed for Real Madrid, and that is because of the brand of Real Madrid that is so important, is worldwide known, and of course it is much bigger than Borussia Dortmund's brand. You know what I'm saying? So I think that he keeps this in mind, and that is the reason why he wants to join Real Madrid and leave Borussia Dortmund. So to me, there's no chance for Borussia Dortmund to retain the player. And now let me tell you all the next and final story about Kylian Mbappe's mom, because as you know, Kylian Mbappe's mom the other day, she was talking for Le Parisien in France, and she said something really controversial, and so many Madridistas out there started to think that she is in talks to renew the contract of Kylian Mbappe with PSG, and that, I mean, she hinted that there are talks between the player and PSG to renew his contract, which is of course true. But it is also true, if you read the whole interview, if you read the whole story, she also said that last summer it was her and the lawyer were supporting him to leave PSG and sign for Real Madrid. The only one against that option, and the only one that really wanted to Mbappe to keep playing for Paris Saint-Germain, it was his father. But his mother and his lawyer wanted for him to join Real Madrid. So there's no reason for me to think that they have changed their mind and they are thinking otherwise. So to me right now, Kylian Mbappe's mother is still the biggest supporter and the biggest help we have in Paris Saint-Germain, or to help us to sign the player. But she also said something really interesting, which is a kind of warning sign for Paris Saint-Germain. She said nobody should blame us for leaving for free if Kylian Mbappe leaves this season Paris Saint-Germain, because we tried to leave last summer just because we wanted to Paris Saint-Germain to make some money with us. So now if we go out for free, you can't blame us because we did what we could do. You know what I'm saying? So she's saying something like, okay, now if we're gonna go and and if Paris Saint-Germain lose Mbappe for free, it is going to be their blame, not our blame. It is going to be their fault, not our fault. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to blame us just because now we are going to leave for free. So to me, there were a couple sentences where she shows everybody that she is okay if his son finally signs for Real Madrid and joins Real Madrid and leaves Paris Saint-Germain. But she also said it is very important because no matter what you say, no matter what his father thinks about, no matter what I think about that, Kylian Mbappe will do whatever he wants, and apparently he wants to play for Real Madrid because she also said that the dream for Kylian Mbappe is to join Real Madrid at some point. So to me, there's no beef, there's no drama, no more controversy. Kylian Mbappe's mom is not killing our hopes to see Kylian Mbappe playing for Real Madrid or something like that. To me, she's actually the biggest support and the biggest help we have to sign Kylian Mbappe. So let's see what happens, guys. But to me, this is pretty much done and there's no beef, no drama, and of course Kylian Mbappe will play for Real Madrid. I hope you like this video. Of course, subscribe to the channel and of course comment in the section below.